Up. God. Yeah. The first thing I want to do is give you a couple tips on positioning our rifle, slings, stock. I notice how some of you may or may not adjust your stock and why. A good way to an adjustable stock is to measure the distance between the bend in your elbow and your hand on the master grip or the grip. And you want this distance to be equal so there's enough pressure. That's how we usually measure the distance from here to here. Okay. Also slings. I see some of you have 2 points, single point. Your transition becomes miserable off of rifle to handgun if you've got this long dangling sling and it's hitting you in the nutsack or somewhere on your legs. Also impossible to move. So you want to keep these fairly tight on your body. You guys all look pretty good. All right, so today we're going to work out in the rain. The few things we're going to work on. We're going to work on first determining where our point of aim, point of impact is at 7 yards. How many people know there's 0 on their rifles? Okay, give me, what's your 0?
25.
Okay, we got 25s and 50s probably, right? Anyone at 50? Okay, so the new standard for law enforcement, we used to be 25, we're now at 50. The reason being, the logic behind it, we're 1 inch low at 25, almost negligible based on human error on a 1-to-1 optic or iron sight, right? I can't see what 1 inch difference at that length. So at 7 yards, or at 5 yards, or at CQB ranges, or distance, point of aim, point of impact should become a subconscious action. So what that means, just to clarify, you probably already know, I need to aim here to hit here. So we need to figure out where that margin is. Mickey's going to bring me out a couple more of these little Pace-Its. I'm going to put one up here where I think you should be, point of aim, and we'll put one here, and that's where the bullet's going to go. So we don't have that much distance, so we're going to probably stay at close distances. We're going to work trigger press with an element of accuracy. We're going to work at port arms. We're going to work at a low ready, and we may work some other positions coming up onto target. We'll work on how we are positioning that rifle on our bodies. We're also going to work on safety manipulation. How many people use the safety as a component of their trigger press? Do you understand what I mean by that? Okay, so a couple different ways to operate the safety, and this is what becomes very critical, especially when transitioning or setting our rifle down or dealing with circumstances, is if we leave our safety off, even with this bolt locked back, this is a condition with a magazine I never leave my rifle in. Okay, the main reason I don't leave my rifle with a full magazine in this condition, this is why. I bump it, I close, now this is dangling, trigger guard goes, I mean, we're talking about eliminating the variables of a negligent discharge. And arguably, this is not accidental. This is negligence because of your failure to put the rifle in a condition that prevented it from discharging. Even though it seems like an accident, it's not. So we got wet, slippery conditions. Weapon should work fine. All right, so let's aim at the bottom of the paper, wherever that is, and let's see where our point of aim, point of impact is. Eyes and ears on the line. So we're going to load a full magazine. We're going to charge around. One shot to this zone here. So let's just aim for this zone, nothing below this line.
Everybody have a rifle?
You want to shoot your handgun if you're here, out in the rain. Eyes and ears. So here's what we're going to do. On the command of up, you'll shoot one round, and you'll assess where your point of aim, point of impact is. All right, eyes and ears. Range is hot. All right. Start at a low ready position. Shooters ready on the line. Ready, up.
I might be set for 50. Bro.
All right, stand by. Everyone recover, recover. Cover your weapons to the holster or lower your weapon, safety's on. Go up and check your point of aim, point of impact. Okay, I'm good. Good. Yep. I aimed on the paper. I wanted to be just below it, so I held my point of impact a little high. All right, everyone, somewhere on the cardboard. The bullet's not going where you're aiming, right? So do you guys understand the principle of holdover? I want to make sure everyone understands the principle of holdover. Anyone confused about your holdover on point of aim, point of impact? Last time, if you zero your rifle in at 50 or 25 yards, at close range, you could be as much as 4 inches above your sight picture, which is your red dot or your iron sights. You need to aim about 4 inches plus, depending on where you're at, above where your point of impact is. So your point of aim is high, your point of impact is lower. We got that. All right. So for this next drill, we're gonna run different positions of this rifle. So the first one, we're gonna start at a low ready position, okay? So I want everyone to make sure you start your position with this weapon already saddled up into your high pocket. So what I see is people on a low ready down here, then they have to position the rifle into their pocket on the way up. So we're gonna stage this rifle in this pocket already, correct? And we're simply gonna come up onto the target by raising the weapon. So it'll be in this position on the command of up, we'll raise it up, fire 1 round. I'm going to watch your manipulation, and we're going to do this probably 5 or 6 times on the command of up. All right, 1 round. Aim at the rim. Point of aim is going to be the bottom rim of the paper. All right, shooter, stand by. Get those weapons up high in a position where you have minimal amount of movement. Ready? Up. Stand by. Ready? Up. Stand by. Ready? Up. Stand by. Ready? Up. All right, you guys are, I'm not going to watch you guys, don't have rifle on. All right. Now we're going to work off a port arms position. So why would we choose, what would be the reason we would elect to go, so port arms is up here, okay? Why would we want to be in this position? Okay, so crowds, give me some other implications and reasons why we'd be at port arms as a component of a position.
Somebody be lower in front of you.
Okay, I like it.
Feet inside a vehicle.
So a vehicle. So let's talk about CQB, where we're looking at negligence as a component of weapon handling. So typically we devise tactics because we're assuming negligence is going to occur. So if we're in the 2nd story building, we want to probably stay in a port arms position because we've assumed that some knucklehead is going to discharge around and we don't know where it's going to go below us. So that's one reason. Number 2, Mickey, can I borrow you? If I'm in a low ready position with Mickey, hi Mickey, if I'm in this position, I can't, and I'm staged in this position, how am I going to support him in this position? I've got to walk all the way around him to come up on target, right? So in this position here, as Mickey moves forward, right, I'm able to come up here and support him, all right? So that's another reason why we may want to stay in a port arms position. A lot of departments don't like that, but it's nice to explore that. So once again, port arms position is going to be starting in this ready position. My position is already supporting my rifle, and I'm just going to simply bring that rifle up and draw it into that pocket there. All right, any questions? All right, we're going to shoot 2 rounds. Ready? Fight! Stand by. Port arms, ready, fight! And remember, 2 rounds. Stand by, ready, fight! Good. All right, let's go back to the subject of manipulating our safety downrange.
Downrange.
As a component of trigger press. So what dictates when is it time to put the safety on and off through this process? So the problem we have is it has to be part of a process versus a, well, I'm gonna put it on when I remember to put it on. So why I reinforce safety on-off as a component of trigger press. Anyone run a 1911 platform? Okay, so at what point do you engage the safety?
On the draw.
Okay, so you turn the safety off on the draw.
As I draw, it comes off.
Okay, so when do you put it back on?
Look at his glasses.
Okay, so what I have found over the many years is that I get, especially on the reloads, let's say on the transitions, people are leaving their safeties off because it's not a component of the trigger press. They reload their primaries, drill is over, rifle is set back, and you walk over and, oh, you know, your safety's off. And remember we talked about this, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So what justifies me turning my safety on and off is when I am off target. So when I'm coming off that sight picture, I'm no longer safety off, engage, engage, engage. Does it need any more? No, I'm gonna flip my safety off. So I use this method of sweeping this way. I don't care how you do it, you use your thumb. Just, if it's somewhere further up in the line of priority, it's always gonna go on. And if you teach people, here's the other big one, if you're not used to manipulating that safety as a component of trigger press, what happens when I start rushing people up? They come, oh shit, they come up to a dead rifle because the safety manipulation wasn't part of that trigger press. So safety off trigger press. So I want it as one move. Just something to explore, see if it works. So that safety comes off as that trigger is being pressed. That's how quick I want it executed. Remember, things are slippery. Things are not, you know, we got to account for the conditions. All right, we're gonna do one round real quick. Once you come off that rifle, safety back on. Now we're gonna lower it. Anywhere I'm in this position, even if I have to lower for someone here, or I have to come to port arms, I'm in a position where I'm just gonna saddle that rifle right away and I'm right on to sight picture. Make sense? So let's try a little bit solid, ready position where all I'm doing is picking that rifle up. Anyone having control of the, having problems controlling the impulse of their weapon? Anyone? You all look pretty solid.
Have you seen me shirtless, dude?
No, ready, up, 40. We're gonna talk about one of the single most important, I guess, competencies working with a primary and secondary weapon is the ability to transition off that weapon effectively. So why wouldn't we reload our primaries here? Some of us have a pretty fast primary reload. What would be some of the disadvantages in a close quarter environment reloading your primary? So we got closing target. What's some other reasons? Okay, it's not as quick as a transition. And one other thing I haven't heard, it's not as much of a sure thing. And what I mean by that is we don't know the condition of our rifle. Yeah, I kind of felt the bolt lock back. I think some of us realize when our bolt lock's back, but there could be other complications with that rifle, and we have an immediate problem we need to address. Let's get a weapon system up and running that we know is ready to work. So the distance, cover, opportunity are reasons to justify reloading your primary, because by golly, give me a rifle any day in a firefight over my handgun. That's why it's a secondary. What we're trying to accomplish on a transition is transition to our secondary as quickly as possible, as smoothly as possible, so we can engage the target, correct? So a couple of different ways to do it. I'm gonna give you my method, and I'm gonna give you the reason why I do this and why it's effective. So what I'm trying to accomplish is I'm trying to do two things at the same time. You probably already know what I'm gonna say, because you probably watched some of my content, but we really have the ability to strip our primary hand off and access this gun with not doing anything with the support hand. The support hand does nothing to assist this effort. The support hand's only responsibility is getting rid of this rifle. Some of the common things I see is we just set the rifle down. Where's my support hand in relation to this rifle? Underneath it, right? So now, if there's any complication or I'm moving, I've got to come, I'm already drawing this weapon, I got to come all the way around that primary weapon to draw my secondary. So what we're going to practice, and we can keep, I'm going to come back up range. What we're going to practice is this simple transition of setting the rifle down in this position while we're drawing our firearm to this position. So I'm laying the rifle magazine out, and I'm simply laying it over my body, doing two things at the same time. So our draw stroke is effectively the same as it would be you know, with a handgun. I'm presenting it. And I will tell you that part of this course, when we spend more time, is not even letting go of the rifle at all. We're just simply going to draw this weapon and fire from here. Less complicated. We're not going to do that today. Well, if we have time, we will. So, any questions on how to do this? I'm going to come watch you. This is a non-fire drill. We're just going to work the manipulation. You're going to shoulder the rifle. You're going to lay the rifle down. You're going to draw your handgun. The only caveat I'm going to reinforce, so you can think about it, is before that rifle comes down, the safety has to be engaged. Okay, so even though we got bolt lock back, that safety comes on because we're going to go through a primary reload through the next evolution and how we accomplish that. And we're also going to cover a tactical reload. All right, any questions?
Nope.
What's that? Yeah, we're gonna do a mag change right now. So all you're gonna do is put your empty magazine in. You got a round in the chamber. So put your empty magazines in. Put your full magazine where you can access it. All right, since we don't have a lot to shoot at, if you have any kind of round thing on your number, shoot that. If you have a 1, shoot one of the 1s. Just anything that looks like a circle, aim for that circle. That'll be your point of aim, or your point of impact. So it'll be a 1, shoot 1 rifle, transition, shoot 1 handgun. And then we're gonna recover and we'll go through the next evolution. We're gonna do this a few times before we get to the next stage. All right, any questions? All right, so empty magazine, 1 in the chamber. Shoot 1 round with your primary, transition to your secondary, 1 round with your secondary, recover. All right, starting at the low ready. We're gonna go start at low ready. Stand by, eyes and ears, ready, up. All right, go ahead and reload your primary. We're gonna go to that, however you do it right now. We're gonna talk about that in a second. All right, I saw some people laying the rifle over with their hand underneath. Okay, downrange.
Downrange.
All right, one more time. Stripping off this hand. As I'm accessing my secondary, I'm laying the rifle across my body. So notice my hand is on top of it, nothing to get caught up. Okay, so we don't want to lay it under. We want to lay it over. Magazine facing out. Got it? Is that contrary to something that, is that something new for people here? Or pretty much most of you? I noticed some of you had a different method. All right, stand by. All right, so we got, you got an empty mag. You got empty?
1 round, now 10.
Okay, good deal. All right, one more time. 1R1, empty magazine is in the rifle, 1 in the chamber, transition to your secondary. Stand by, ready, up. All right, how'd everyone do?
A little clumsy.
Okay, yeah, I'm just giving you the mechanics so you can practice them. All right, let's take the next step of the evolution, downrange.
Downrange.
All right. All right, so let's talk about the next stage of the evolution of this, which is the proper recovery. And what I want to stress is we see a lot of drills that are mechanics only. I want to incorporate some sense of tactical prudence in the overall equation, because we're not recovering to our primary until it's safe to do so. So a couple elements to justify transition back to primary. Number 1, I've got support. I got another guy up here on rifle. I can step back, I can step behind him. I got an element of cover. I can deal with the problem and focus on resolving the problem, because not all rifle problems are as simple as bolt lock back. We've all had, you know, have you guys had an override before where the bullet is stuck? You know, I mean, that's not an easy fix. How about where you had a failure to eject and that you've got to bang that rifle on the ground to get that. I mean, that rifle is effectively out of the fight. Now you have the time to deal with. So part of the recovery process coming back to primary is paying attention to your environment. We didn't do a lot of scan work. I just want you guys to consider this. Whether you want to demonstrate it or not, I don't care. So after we transition to this position and we take the shots, I am in no rush now to really recover this primary until I'm done fighting, because I don't want to say this is an administrative, because it's really not. I want to get the system back up and running, but I have opportunity to do it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick glance at it. You can bring it up to your sight picture if you want and look, or just take a quick glance. And what condition is my rifle in? If I have a bolt forward, do I have time to address this problem right now? Maybe I don't. Maybe my buddies are still in a fight, or I'm still in a fight. I could risk tap rack, right? But it depends. The exigency dictates the tactic. Does that make sense? So it's always exigency dictates tactics. So I'm going to take a quick look. I'm going to take a quick look at the condition of my rifle, and I'll go ahead and store my handgun. And now I'm going to flip it over to this side. Here I got the empty in, right? And I have a couple choices here, right? What are my choices? My choices are get rid of this piece of plastic, or simply perform a tactical reload. Couple different methods on performing a tactical reload. So I will talk about that. We don't want to throw our mags in the dirt. There's a good reason not to throw our mags in the dirt. Okay? So why don't we just practice a tactical reload? We're going to take the magazine. I separate the fingers here, and I leave one as a buffer. Okay? So however you grab the magazine, I leave one as a buffer, and that buffer is in between this magazine and the other, and I'm making this T or this cross. And I'm simply exchanging them, and now I'm going to close my bolt. Before I do anything with this magazine, priority is get my weapon system up and running. Close the bolt, you're already there. Now, well, I just closed the bolt. So any question on the implications of recovery back to the primary? You understand the mode of operation is I'm going to recover when it's safe to do so. Anyone practice a tactical reload at all? Tac reload on the, okay. How often do you guys execute tactical reloads on your rifles?
Usually, sometimes depending on how many you shoot after your course of fire.
Okay.
You don't, like, honestly, after 30, like maybe you shot 5 or 6, maybe you shot 10 or fucking 15. I'd rather have a full 30 than have 10 or 15.
Okay. So, you know, I guess, again, we talk about exigency dictates tactics. If I'm fighting and I have an emergency reload on my primary and behind cover, I'm 100 yards away, 50 yards away, I ain't worried about putting this magazine away unless I'm in country somewhere where I don't have resources that I can get anymore. So environment dictates tactic as well, right?
Exigency. Explain to them what that means.
So exigency is simply a term that means it's an immediate action that requires that I address it. So, for instance, if I got a guy that's shooting someone over there and I need to address that, and I got a handgun and I can't shoot at 100 yards, exigency is me not doing this. I'm gonna run as fast as I can to gain some sort of position to deal with the issue. So exigency simply means the time in which we execute a choice, a method or decision based on the totality of the circumstance, right? So exigency dictates tactic, environment dictates tactic, environment may dictate manipulation, right? So all of those things are things to consider, and I'm not giving you a method to tell you to do it. You got to figure out what works right. I'm just giving you some tools to try. All right, so this drill, 1 round to the target with the primary, transition to the secondary, 1 round, don't be in a rush to recover, don't flag people. Pick the rifle up, check the condition with the weapon out. What's my choice? Okay, I'm going to reload my primary. Flip it over to the support hand and execute that tactical reload, closing the bolt. I'm done with the drill, but I'm here and I want to put my magazine back in. Let's just be efficient at it. So I'm putting the empty back in. Clear? All right. Okay, transition drill 1, transition 1, reload primary. Safety on this one. Ready? Up! Solid.
Well, I know, my freaking stuff keeps sticking.
All right, if you drop the magazine, pick it up. All right, anyone have trouble with the reload? So you guys want to use your method, try it. If you want to try that method with the crisscross, it's fine. The reason we want our finger in there is because if you connect two magazines, this is a great day to demonstrate it. It's wet, it's slippery. If I connect these two, downrange. If I connect these two magazines together and hold them, you can be done, but it's slippery. So this is why we use this buffer, this finger in between. Okay, so I'm cupping, and this buffer right here is sticky. And it gives me a little bit more force, and I'm right back to this magazine, and I'll just simply execute it again. So we can practice this all day long if we want. Just one method. All right, the only thing I'm changing on this drill is I want 2 shots of your primary after the reload. So 1 round primary, transition to secondary. Don't be in a rush to recover it. This is not a speed drill. Get your rifle back working up on target, 2 rounds with the rifle. 1, transition 1, reload primary, 2 rounds to the target. Got it?
Yeah.
All right, shooter stand by. Stand by, ready, fight! So finish the drill, finish the drill. Give me 2 rounds. There you go. Let's talk about what happened to you. Yeah, this is good, good training point. Yeah. All right, downrange.
Downrange.
All right, so tell me what happened to you.
All kinds of shit.
Okay, came up on target, what'd you end up?
Well, first came up, lost the dot totally, so we shot it through the tube anyways, but then, click, nothing.
Why'd you lose the dot?
Not an aim point. And this must have came up, it just came up wrong. I mean, the dot works, it's on, it was just me coming up wrong. But,
So you had a failure to fire. So what was you made a decision, right? What was your decision?
Tap and rack,
Okay.
locked the bolt back, then proceeded to reload, fire the 2 shots.
Okay, so what is the best course of action on a failure to fire? Because that's essentially what we're dealing with.
Should have gone to a secondary?
Gone to your secondary. So you may come up on your rifle. Anytime that rifle goes click, that is what's initiating the transition. Yeah. Nothing else. Not on my knowledge that I have 1 round. What initiates transition, that's perfect. I'm glad that happened to you because we covered it. But the reality is you still resolved it. So the only thing I had to prompt you is stay in the fight. Yeah. Finish the drill. I don't care how it looks, what you do, just fire something. Just do something. So failure to fire is initiating this drill, because I will tell you, when we are mowing down 4 or 5 rounds and I put a dummy round in there, what do I want your reaction to be at this distance? I don't want you necessarily tap racking that gun. So what we're trying to reinforce is practices that are prudent for the distance in the environment that you're in, right? So let's run that one more time, and we'll watch the mechanics. You guys still got rifle ammo left, or are you running low? All right, so we're in this position, right? Actually, we'd be in this position. So I'm simply gonna sweep my magazine. Notice that I probably have a different method on my magazines. I'm probably opposite of everyone, right? But do I not end up in the same position? So I'm probably the minority on my mag changes because bullets facing forward. Everything on mine faces forward. Nothing wrong with it, opposite way. Doesn't matter, because we still end up here regardless of how we grab. So once again, I'm creating the buffer with 1 finger, sweeping it like I normally sweep it, buffer with 1 finger, clamping it around here. So I'm making a sandwich with a single index finger as the buffer, and I'm simply transitioning these 2. I come up, bolt, close the bolt because I'm already there. And now I'm done with the drill, but since we have another drill, I'm already there. I'm not reinforcing the training scar, because that's effectively, I just reloaded it, I've closed the bolt, whew, I'm done. But we're just gonna take it another step. Okay, so it's just, you're doing it back and forth. Do the 1, you're actually just putting the magazine, closing the bolt, taking the magazine out, putting the empty back in. All right, so this is 1, transition 1, reload primary, 2 shots to the target. So we're looking for mechanics here, manipulations. 1, transition back to primary, reload 2 rounds. Shooter stand by. Ready, up.
We gotta reload.
All right, so I noticed some people, some people actually made the right choice, because if I'm reloading my primary, I got an empty magazine in, that's technically emergency reload. Why am I storing that magazine in? It seems like a waste of time. I noticed you did it. So that's actually a prudent way to handle it. I'm back in the fight again. Oh, there it is. I don't need this piece of plastic. Just gonna get back in the fight. So let's just call it, for this intensive purposes, we're initiating that primary reload. We're gonna store the magazine because I don't want you putting your magazines in the dirt right now. And then we're simply gonna start that process over with 2 rounds. Make sense? There's no reason messing our equipment up right now. All right, one more time. All right, this is 1, transition 1, transition back to primary 2. Stand by, ready, fight. Good.
I was watching. I'm like, it isn't gonna fit. It isn't gonna fit. I was saying it from
All right, recover. So let's talk about why I asked you to do something complex. This is the whole purpose of it. Why I had a process to this. Because it's changing the way that you are engaging, because you're transitioning from subconscious action to conscious action, right? So what's on the top of our mind in this engagement? Maybe a little bit of aiming, but it's all about this weapon manipulation we have to deal with. So the cognitive process is what delays our execution speed. So that's part of the reason why I had this weird, one was I didn't want to get your mags dirty. 2, it forced you to have to think cognitively about what you were doing. So now we're gonna, let's see, we don't have enough people to do 1 shooter, 1 coach. Actually, we have some, no, we'll keep it how it is. So what I want you guys to do is I want to do 1 exercise of a tap rack on this primary at this distance. I don't want to get into that slippery mud. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our weapons, remove the magazine, put our weapons in condition 4. We're going to put a full magazine in, empty chamber, okay? So I want you to come up and target. I want you to fire a round, which you won't, and I want you to engage the target with a transition on the secondary. So you got to click. That's going to initiate the transition. Fire 2 rounds of your handgun, recover to your primary, and fix the problem. Okay? So what condition is your safety going to be in? Is it going to be on or off? It's going to be off. Why would your safety be off? Exactly. So hammer down, the safety won't work. So that tells you, number 1, because you may not have heard the round, this is another value of manipulating safety on or off. Because if you ask people in a firefight that haven't been in one, they don't even know that they shot a round. So we're teaching another layer, it sounds stupid, but another layer of something's not right with my rifle. So I know that for a later date, because my safety doesn't work. I know I have a closed bolt because the feedback from the weapon is telling me to do that without looking. Just because I went to sweep that safety, it's not working. But my priority is getting my secondary up, but I have knowledge for later that I have to address a more critical problem with my rifle. Does that make sense? You guys may not see the value in the nuances, but everything that we do sends a message to us subconsciously about what we have to think about later. So I'm not trying to discover picking my rifle back up and trying to pull the trigger again. I already know I got a problem that I got to resolve. So what are we going to do with our rifle when it comes back up? What's our immediate action to failure to fire on the rifle? You got 2 choices, but one's probably better than the other. Tap rack. So why tap? Okay, so we're tapping to seat the mag, and maybe it's redundant because it didn't come out, but what does it waste? It's a simple process of eliminating variables, right? So I'm eliminating this variable, I'm tapping it, I'm racking it, and now I'm bringing it back up and I'm hitting the target. So we're gonna do failure to fire. Transition 1, 2 rounds with the handgun, get your rifle back up running, 2 rounds with your rifle. Do this 2 or 3 times. Okay, so empty magazine, or remove your magazine, empty chamber, full mag in. So rifle is in condition 3 with an empty chamber. You should not hear a round go off with your rifle. So what we're teaching is that impulse on failure to fire to initiate the transition. All right, shooter stand by. Ready? Up! So I saw some delays on, momentary delays on failure to fire, like, right? Even though we knew it. Thank you very much. So I want to run this one more time. So I know it's hard to play this because you know what's happening. I really want your nice trigger press, sight on target. Press it, I'm off, and transition. Empty mag, 1 to the chamber, 1, transition 1 to the head. Shooter stand by, ready, up. Man, I would like to have them in a line and just walk up, but it's kind of slippery. Can everyone see that target from where you're at, or are you precluded? Do I need to lower a couple more of these targets? For the, you got it? You got both these targets from where you're at? So we're gonna go one at a time on this drill. This drill is gonna be 3 rounds. We're gonna do 2 to the far target, transition 1 shot to the smaller target. And the rule of this is the next person in line is gonna be staged and ready. As soon as that person shoots his last round, that's your cue to come up on target and shoot your 2 and 1. So we're just gonna go down the line. Your initiation from this drill, this is the part that I really want you to work as a team, is his weapon's coming down, yours is coming up. So it should be pretty seamless. When he's done with his 3rd round, you follow up with 2 rounds to the 1. So 1 at a time.
Rolling wave.
Yep, a rolling wave of death. I like it. All right, we starting with Uzi? All right. No, you do it. All right, ready? 2 and 1. All right, so get your rifles prepped. Safety should be on until you engage. All right, at the beep, shooter stand by. 1 at a time. Here it comes. Hit the small one. You're not done. Yeah, no, you're not transitioning. Not transitioning. 1 to the small. All right, next one. That's you. On you. 2 to the far, 1 to the close. Good. Good. Number 1. All right, start from the beginning one more time. Let's start reverse order. Ready? Up.
Make up that miss! Make up that miss! There you go. Sorry.
All right, here's the next drill. This is teamwork. I'm gonna have you transition off your full rifle. So what's the justification for transitioning off a rifle? Let's talk about what would be some of the reasons. Like, we first need to, tactically, a couple reasons you transition off primary, you shoot a couple rounds, you decide to transition to secondary. Environment. I'm in a small confined space, weapon's too big, I want a clear cabinet, I don't want the rifle there. So what I really want to demonstrate here, and this is more a mechanics drill, is an element of teamwork along with transition. So the way that this drill is going to run, you're going to shoot 2 rounds with your primary. You're going to transition to your secondary. Upon transition to your secondary, you are going to yell, we're going to call it red, green, okay? So while you transition to your secondary, you're going to call red, saying you are out, and as immediately you hear red, you're engaging that far target. And immediately when you transition, you're calling red, hitting that single round with your handgun, right? And you come up, same drill. You guys understand the drill?
Run that again. So it's 2 shots on the far, red.
2 shots on the far, transition, 2 shots, bam, bam, red! Transition and shoot. On your red, he's already engaging that far target for you, while you're engaging the close one with your 1 round of the handgun.
Streams, guys.
Okay, so why are we doing, do you guys understand the drill?
Yeah.
Okay, the reason, I always tell you guys why, I think it's important. The reason we're doing this is we're creating cognitive complexity to the drill that forces you to disrupt your aim with cognitive process, right? Because this is the kind of critical shit we're gonna have to deal with in the field. All right, so that's the purpose why we run these. All right, 2, safety on, transition with the word red. And the only thing I might want you to do is let your partner know your rifle's back up and running, that you've recovered your handgun, and maybe just say green.
Okay.
You don't have to do it if you don't want
They're
to.
on the second target. We're on the
You
first
got 2, yeah, so basically when he's transitioning, you're supporting the target he's not taking, and he's shooting his handgun round on the closer target. All right, 2, transition 1. Stand by, ready, up.
Red.
Stand by, ready, up.
Red.
That's probably better. Woo! Get it! Get it! Hold on, he'll work you in. Work some of these guys in that don't have rifles somehow.
Okay.
I'm just doing the same shit.
Yeah, just you guys just move over and shoot some steel. All right, they're starting. So I'm going to give you a time on this drill. We're going to create a base time model. Do a little bit of performance here. The way this drill is going to work is it's going to be 2 to the far target, 1 to this target to the right, and then 1 headshot at about 25 yards to that. Well, I want to see some sort of. Yeah.
Are we shooting the head or the swinger?
The head. Well, isn't the head the swinger?
Well, I mean, like, are you shooting the
Yeah,
the head
the hostage.
box?
The hostage.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to see movement. So it'll be 2, 1, and 1. So we've got a bunch of different elements to efficiency here, right? So in order to make the time, you're going to have to basically do a quick follow-up shot on the first one, transition over to the second one, and then that precision headshot or hostage shot. We'll start on. You guys want to run this for pistol too?
Sure.
All right. So for pistol, we're just. You want to just do 1, 1, and 1?
Do the same thing.
All right. We'll do the same thing. Nice. 4:45. Time to beat.
Good shooting, Jordan.
Stand by.
Running that Radian
That's all right.
pistol.
Good.
Safety on.
All right.
Nice,
4:25.
dude. Cakewalk? Should be okay. That's why you don't want to stand too close.
Nice.
Good shoot.
I don't feel so bad.
Nice job, Nick.
Nice.
All right.
First
Stand by.
couple ones.
I'm up.
Yep.
I feel like I might pull this. Is that it?
Yeah. Just go.
Couldn't hit it.
Slow down. Front sight it. There it is. Slow, nice, even trigger press. Front sight, good. Nice. All right, ready?
Yeah, you're right. That's all trigger.
Yeah, just rushing a little bit too fast. Good. Oh, he moved it. Are you running 9? Yeah. Solid hit then. Ready? Yeah. I've watched you shoot.
Your voice too, just like that must be booty caliber.
Nice. How's it? Good job. All right. So 397 is the time to beat.
Yeah, with a miss.
All right.
Shut up.
So
I'll beat that with my pistol right now.
notice some things, weapon manipulation while it's downrange. Just to mention,
Downrange.
any manipulation we do with the primary should be support hand. We don't really want to come off our master grip for manipulations. Anyone told something contrary to that? So we don't want to take our primary hand off to rack. Everything is done with our support hand. So just something to remember. All right, same drill.
I want to add one thing.
Yeah, add it.
Super, super simple, guys. I keep saying this to you, stepping out. We're all having fun. Being aware is what's required to like save your skin. We talked about this earlier. You got to be aware of something. Start to become aware. Did you just hear the dude's safety click off next to you or on? If not, look over and be like, hey, dipshit.
Good point.
You know, just start to pay attention. And it's not like you're trying to be like a Annie. They should be doing the same to you. Look and see the guy. If you get tired, we just talked about this. Are you keeping positive contact of the rifle? These slings are not meant for you to walk around with it dangling like you're. Keep a good hold on it. Pay attention to what each other are doing.
All right, so we're gonna run this one more time. Base time to beat is 397, and then I'm gonna change one thing about this drill, and then we're gonna look at the impact that has on performance.
Whoever does this fastest to completion wins a custom Colonel blade that there's only one of in the world.
Give me my rifle back.
All right, so
whoever does it cleanest wins one of them blades. I'm sorry. Yeah, if you fire 100 shots, but your overall time got it done with the required hits.
Can we say that for the next one? Just let them run this one.
Okay, fine. Never mind.
Next one.
He's got another one.
Next one is going to be the contest because I'm going to change it, and the stress is going to be different.
One.
So this is the same drill. Time to beat was, I think it was you.
397.
397 is the time to beat. The next one that we do is for the blade.
Guys,
you'll understand in a second.
No offense, you cannot let this metrosexual take this.
Which one's the metro?
All right, eyes and ears. Range is hot.
The one with the bubble butt over here that I can't keep my eyes off of.
All right,
here.
We're starting. Shooter standby, wherever you want. You can just off the sights, but you can go to high ready, looking over the top of the sights. That'll save you some time. Right there, just off the sight. So so essentially you're looking over the sight at the target. Now you're just coming up into sight picture. Okay. All right, stand by. That's a hit. 576.
Guys, you can't outshoot bad mechanics.
Stand by.
Pull the gun in.
Nice hit. 613. Stand by.
Go to Slick Willie Johnson.
Man, you were rocking.
611.
You had it, dude.
Let me give you your time before the last shot.
2.3.
It was 505.
Go, Johnny, be good.
Oh, actually, that's not fair because I have to go back 3. All right, you stand by.
Metro.
Stand by. No, we're ready to stand by. He needs to get in position. Okay, stand by. Sorry. All right, stand by. Oops. Stand by.
Oopsie.
It's gonna go. It's gonna go. All right, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Stand by.
Now you're good.
John!
Yeah!
Nice. 296 time to beat.
Woo! Benjamin, can you please smoke this homo?
296 time to beat. Stand by.
You're like, I'm like he was when that guy was hitting him. He's like, oh yeah.
Wait, what just happened?
You only hit it with one glove on, it doesn't count. Gotta have two gloves on. Well known.
That's hit. 1254.
Did you just shoot that compressed?
Stand by.
He keeps running.
On purpose?
Yeah.
Really?
What did it like unlock?
Nice. 730.
Come on, man.
All right, stand by.
Cool.
Three. I think you need one. I only got one shot on the far one. Did you guys concur?
What was the overall time?
325. Stand by. Finger off the trigger. Ready? So come up and look over the top of your sight. Don't. So the beep's going to go off. Let's talk about high ready because we're having trouble with high ready. High ready. I want everyone to pick the rifle up. Look at the target, but look over the top of your sight, both eyes open. This is your high ready position, and all you're doing is just simply lifting it up to your sight picture.
Can you tell them why we do that?
Okay, so high ready is opening up your peripheral vision. You're focusing on the big picture. Even though we're both eyes open, some of you have optics, you're gonna close one eye, right? So you're gonna limit your peripheral vision. So everything we're traveling at the high ready, looking over the top of our gun, when we engage, it simply comes up to a position of fire. We're in a position to fire because you don't even need your friggin' sight picture if you've got that natural point of aim. It's just up and press, trigger press.
I was at 108 on that one. There it is. There, John. Just right on there.
It's yours.
All right, you got it. Stand by. Oh. Stand by. Tap right.
In a broken gun.
I don't know what it is. Oh,
Tap.
it's the stock?
No.
around the.
Yeah, it didn't chamber.
Uh-oh.
Put the stock back.
All right.
Stop. Put the stock back.
Hit me right in the neck.
I'm gonna swap spots with you whenever.
What happened?
I'm gonna swap spots.
All right, stand by.
Yeah.
Good. All right, you're gonna run?
Yeah. You want to switch with me real quick? Yeah.
All right, stand by.
Why do we walk forward into more money? Hey, Nick.
Because we want a distance. Yeah, this sucks. We'll step a little forward.
All it is, 5 more feet.
Right, you're right.
Right?
Yep. Still right. There it is.
I can just hang.
All right. Okay.
Whoever does this fastest to completion wins a custom Colonel blade that there's only one of in the world. Pick it up!